Alright, I'm back with the tutorial. I have to re-record this because it wasn't recording the first time and I'm an idiot. So let's get started. First, you want to come over and create a new composition. We'll name this Polaroid 2 because I'm an idiot, so I have to record this the second time. The width and the height, you want to change this to 800 and the height to 900. And the seconds or the duration is how long the Polaroid will last, basically. So for this, I'm going to go with 4 seconds. And we have this rectangular box shape like. So come over to rectangle tool, change the fill to none, and change the stroke size to 140. And come over to rectangle tool and just double click it, and you should get this box that appears. To get the Polaroid effect, you just want to drag this up quite a bit and drag these sides. Just maybe drag this up and just drag the sides out to get something that you like. And to align it to the middle, come over to align and just hit align horizontally, and it's already perfectly set up. We can maybe drag this down so the top has more room. And now we have a Polaroid like box, and if you want, you can just drag this a little bit shorter, drag it around until you get something you like. This is pretty good, I think. And then to drag in a picture, you can drag in a picture or a video, whatever you want. I'm just gonna drag in a picture and just resize it down using the scale. Something like this should be fine. And you can add text to this as well, and you can drag this to anywhere you want on the Polaroid. You can even add like little things on top like Polaroid or whatever. The text font I'm using for this one is the Goi print. I don't even know how you would pronounce that, but you can see it's right there. I think it's default. It's like built into After Effects. And we can create a new timeline. So come over to the project panel and just hit create a new composition and name this whatever you want. Change the actual width and height because I didn't change it before. And you could come over to Polaroid and just drag it onto the timeline. And now we have it popped up over here, and you want to turn on the 3D layer. If you don't see these little panels popped up or little tools popped up, you can come over to toggle switches modes, and it switches between these two. Make sure you have the 3D checked, and here you can rotate it the way you want, however, in like 3D space. But to get that background you've seen in the intro, we're going to add an adjustment layer, drag it below the Polaroid, and we're going to add particle world. We're going to add CC particle world to the adjustment layer. Go to grids and guides and turn off everything. Come over to birth rate, change this to 3. Longevity 1. Producer. Radius X, you want to change this to around 1. Radius Y, change this to 2 or so. And the radius Z, you want to turn this down all the way almost to 10. Around 8.9 or to 10. Doesn't really matter. Physics, velocity 0, or else it'll be moving. Gravity to 0, and come over to particle. You will change this to the color you want. So I'm gonna go with something that's pink or purple, and I'm gonna change the depth color to white. And if you don't see anything and it's just black at the starting point, just come over to around a second and just delete the first half and just drag this over to the beginning. I do have a full tutorial on this already. If you want to check it out, it'll be up here somewhere on the screen. It goes into full in-depth about everything, so you can check that video out. So from here, you want to add optics compensation. You want to add optics compensation, change the field of view to 130 and turn on reverse lens distortion. Then you want to add deep glow, change the radius down to like 130 or so, and the exposure, you want this to be bright, so you just pop this up a bit. Then you want to add a camera on top of it, change the preset to 28mm to 50mm. Then you want to add a null layer, parent the camera to the null by dragging this little whip thingy and just dragging it to null, and make the null 3D layer as well. Here we can hit P on our keyboard to bring up position. We can right click on this and separate dimensions, so that way we have full control over everything. Here I'm going to change this to -2000. If it needs a little bit more, we can go 3000, so that way it's further back. When we zoom in, it actually looks good. So we can position this at the beginning, and we can drag this to the end of the clip, and we can drag it up to where we want it to end off at. So maybe right around here is good. So now when we play it back, it should look like this. What I like to do is change the rotations of the actual Polaroid itself, adjust this the way we want to start off at. So we can have this keyframe all of them and come over to the end and readjust it to the way you want. And we can easy ease these keyframes and play around with the graphs. The graphs are a little bit tricky to play with just because getting the speed of it right is a little bit hard. But what I like to do is drag this down so that way it speeds up. It speeds up at the beginning and it slows down kind of at the end like this. You can see it. It looks pretty good actually. And you can just do the rest, and you can just do the same for the rest if you want. Play around with the graphs until you get something you like. but this is what I'm going to go with for now. So yeah, now we have this, and if you want, we can change the rotation of the camera so it messes around with the actual panning of it. What you could do is change the Z rotation, change this to 0, and we can mess around with it. So we could rotate it right and come over a few frames, then rotate it left and come over a few frames, and then just keep doing that really. And when we play it all out, it looks like this. You can see it looks kind of weird. It looks like it's like bouncing between. So we can easy ease these. Click on the Z rotation so we only get the Z. And you want to make something that looks like shark fins. So something like that. Drag this down. And then drag this up. And drag this down. Again, and it looks like shark fins. That's why I say you want to make it look like shark fins. So then once we have it graphed out, and this is what it looks like. And again, you can make this a lot smoother. I'm just doing this fast. And I do have a tutorial on this again. If you want to go check that out. It goes more in depth on how everything is done. This actually looks pretty clean. And you can do this with anything. So you could change the X rotation. You can change the Y rotation. It doesn't have to be the Z, but I think the Z just looks the best with the rotations. So yeah, that's how you would make this cool little Polaroid effect with the DC Particle World background. One other thing to help you with this type of edit, if you add in a song and you find the beats of it, you can actually sync up the actual rotation. And unironically, I somehow managed to do this with this song. So this is what it looks like with the song. Yeah, once you actually match up the rotations with the beat, it sounds pretty good. So that's how you can enhance your edits as well, by just doing a simple trick. So if you like this tutorial, leave a like and subscribe, and I will try to do more of these in the future.